A study put out by researchers at the University of California, Irvine, identified the biggest danger to global Internet security comes from space. Major solar activity, the kind that has not occurred in more than 100 years, has the potential to unleash a devastating Internet apocalypse. In a world that relies on the Internet for its smooth operation, solar storms have the power to disrupt critical services and rack up losses to the value of £5 billion, $7 billion, a day in the US alone. According to Sangeetha Abdou-Jyoti, a professor of computer science and the study's author, even a few minutes of a global Internet outage would be catastrophic. And in a worst-case scenario, the outage could last for days or even months. In her paper, titled Solar Superstorms, Planning for an Internet Apocalypse, Professor Jyoti wrote, "The Internet has played a key role in helping us deal with the coronavirus pandemic, a recent black swan event." However, Internet researchers and operators are mostly blind to another black swan event that poses a direct threat to Internet infrastructure. In this paper, we investigate the impact of solar superstorms that can potentially cause large-scale Internet outages covering the entire globe and lasting several months. Major solar storms have lashed the planet in the past, but these occurred before the advent of the Internet, satellite technology and high-speed communications. The biggest solar storm on record occurred in 1859 and is known as the Carrington event. Triggered by a coronal mass ejection (CME), a large expulsion of plasma and magnetic field from the Sun, the storm fried telegraph wires across North America and Europe, sparking several fires. Particularly strong CMEs can be sent hurtling our way by so-called solar tsunamis on the surface of the Sun. According to NASA, these are waves of hot plasma that rise higher than Earth and ripple out in a circular pattern millions of miles in circumference. If one of these solar tsunamis caused a Carrington-level event today, it would lead to widespread blackouts, knock out satellites and plunge the planet into a state of chaos. In her study, Professor Jyoti said some 20 to 40 million people in the U.S. could be left without access to power for up to 2 years. A similar-sized event came dangerously close to hitting the planet in 2012 but narrowly missed. It was estimated at the time the total economic impact of the storm would have surpassed £1.45 trillion, $2 trillion. Professor Jyoti has now warned global Internet infrastructure may be unprepared for such an event. In particular, Internet cables that run along the seabed could suffer crippling damage and are at greater risk of failure compared to land cables. The expert added, the probability of occurrence of extreme space weather events that directly impact the Earth is estimated to be 1.6% to 12% per decade. More importantly, the Sun was in a period of low activity in the past 3 decades from which it is slowly emerging. Since this low phase of solar activity coincided with the rapid growth of technology on the Earth, we have a limited understanding of whether the current infrastructure is resilient against powerful CMEs.